Hello and welcome to the All Things Brentford podcast. This is the Burnley away match preview. Big game at the weekend, and as usual, I'm joined by big player Cameron. How are we, son?
Not too bad. Love a little big player. Not big coach though.
No, not coach. Useless. Right. Brentford against Burnley this weekend. Big bottom of the table, near the bottom of the table clash, should I say? Burnley haven't won a game since Christmas Eve, sorry, where they played Fulham away from home. They're 19th in the table on 14 points. They're 10 points off Everton, who are just above the relegation zone. Right, the first question I want to ask you is: if we lose this game, how many problems arise?
Yeah, I can't lie. I think if we don't win, let alone draw, if we don't win on Saturday, I think we're just dragged straight into the relegation fight. That's when everyone will be talking about us in a relegation scrap. Thank God Bournemouth saved us against Luton the other night. What the hell was that game all about? But yeah, I think 3 points is a must. I think Brian could be back for that game, but again, I think from Frank's mindset, he's almost hoping that we get the job done sort of early in the first half, so we don't have to sort of bring them on and risk that. Because as you know, Josh Da Silva is a prime example. We do like to bring players back a bit prematurely and then they're out for even longer. So I just hope get the job done against a weak Burnley side, and then we can save sort of Norgard and Bremo for the Man United game in the next week. But do you think we're already in the relegation scrap, or do you think it's only if we lose or draw to Burnley?
No, I think we're there or thereabouts. You get me? I think you never know what's going to happen. I think us, Forest, Everton, Luton, we're really the four teams scrapping. Burnley have an outside chance, but 10 points is a lot of points to make up at this point in the season. But yeah, I think we're there. Like mathematically, yeah, we are in a relegation battle. But like you said, if we lose, I don't know. I really don't know. If we lose, I think then we're definitely going to be dragged in there. Let's talk about formations quickly. Obviously, I hate a five at the back, right? And I stand on this as well, right? If I see Thomas Frank play a five at the back against Burnley, yeah, right, we met just relegate us now. There's no point of even being here because first of all, it's Burnley. No disrespect to Burnley, but they're shit, yeah. And second of all, like we've played five at the back in all these games where we're going to struggle. No, where we're going to have to be behind the ball. Go to a four at the back. Put the team out there, right? Put a team out there that's going to fight, young, energetic, get the legs in there. You know what I mean? What do you think? What do you think about the whole Thomas going with five at the back? And if he went with a five at the back, would you disagree?
If you asked me this last season, I would 100% disagree with you with a back five. But I can see why he would play a back five.
Why? Why? Tell me why he should play a back five.
Because we can't lose. And I'm not being funny. Like, we literally don't have the players. And I know I keep banging on. I think every single pod we've done since I've started is like, I might as well create my own little soundboard. Oh, we don't have the players. Oh, we've got too many injuries. But I can see why he would play a back five just for that sort of security. And we have played well with back five. We've just been unlucky with the results.
So you're telling me that we cannot go toe to toe with Burnley. That's what you're starting. No. In essence, if we play a four at the back, yeah, and they play a four at the back, we're going man for man. So you're saying, yeah, that you've just said that we can't lose the game. Yeah, so you're insinuating that Brentford FC, yeah, cannot go toe to toe with Burnley. Is that what you're saying?
No, we can go toe to toe with Burnley.
So why five? Why five?
Just don't concede early. Like, we were there last time we went to Burnley and we conceded like 3 within like 25 minutes. Like, we cannot afford to do that. And Burnley, as they've shown against Bournemouth, they will score early. They will put the pressure on, especially at home. They're going to fight. Like, they're going to be looking at Brentford again. Oh, like, I can't wait to play Brentford at home. Like, this could be the start of our little run. Don't concede early. I can see why he would play a back five. We played well against Arsenal. We played well against City with a back five. We can do that against Burnley. You know, Haaland's not quite. I don't even know who fucking plays for Burnley at this point. like Doris from behind the sort of counter. But at least then we can then change it to a 4, then put the pressure on when we need to. And again, worst comes worst, stick Brian and Bremer back on, stick Norgard on, just to get those sort of precious 3 points. But I can see why he would. I wouldn't be so disappointed if I see the team sheet on Saturday and it says a back 5.
Well, we're going to have to agree to disagree, because I will be pissed off if I see a back 5 against Burnley. Literally, it's Burnley.
You're always pissed off when you see a back 5.
No, I'm not. Because it's pathetic, right? You're saying we haven't got the players, yeah, and we've got injuries. Yeah. A back 4 helps us in that situation. The rumours are Reguilon's back, yeah? Right. If I was going to go out there and go play Burnley, you put Flecken in goal, you put Reguilon at left back, yeah, you put Collins and fucking
Zanka.
Yeah, it was Collins and Zanka at centre half. You play Ayer at right back. Yeah, I don't know if Norgard's going to be fit. He withdrew from the Denmark squad this morning, so I don't think he'll be fit for the game. Then you've got to play a midfield 3 of Janel, Jensen, and for me, I drop on Yeka and I play Yarmolenko. Get a bit of youth in there, get a bit of legs in there. Get some
Burnley?
Yeah, get some legs in there. Yeah. I think people forget, yeah. Right.
Frank gives you legs.
Huh?
Frank Onyeka gives you like legs though. Like he will run.
Okay. And he also got booked after 30 seconds against Arsenal. So I don't know what your point. But no. So yeah. Play a midfield 3 and then play a front 3 of KLP, Tony and Wissa. It's got to happen. I don't understand, and I think people forget as well, this isn't the same Burnley side under Sean Dyche. Like, they're not this rough and tumble side anymore. Like, as much as people joked about it, they're not that long ball specialities, yeah? Right, Burnley have got company in charge now. They play decent football. They'll keep the ball on the ground for the most part. They've got decent wingers. And I just think, if we go to a back 5, if we continue in the back 5, we're limiting ourselves so much. And if we go to a back 5, we are literally saying to Burnley, come on, come at us and see what you can throw at us. We should. I've got no problem. I've got no problem with going to a 4, yeah, grabbing a few goals and then coming back to a 5. I've got no problem with that. Because if Frank feels we need that stability. But we don't need to be so negative about it. We don't need to be there and sit back behind the ball and just let them run at us, because the chances are, like, we can't defend for anything at the moment. So they're going to score. That's how it is.
Yeah, no, I do hear you on that. Like, I think a 4 should be the way to go about it. But I'm just saying, I wouldn't be shocked or disappointed that we would play like as a 5.
I don't know. We'll have to see in it. We'll have to see. And if they go for a 4 as well, then I think it's an opportunity missed to really get at them and get into.
But do you think they'll go with a 5? Do you think
no.
Do you not think?
No, I don't think they will. I think they go 4. Like you said, they're going to look at this game and they're going to think, if we're going to start this climb up the table, Brentford are the team we're going to beat. And companies not gonna want anything apart from a win. And I believe that he will set his team up to be rigid, but also to be able to go out there and, do you know what I mean, be on the front foot. I think they go for a 4 as well, but I guess only time will tell. And then when them lineups come out at 2:00 on Saturday, we'll be able to see, you know what I mean, like, what's going on. Obviously, Norgard went off injured against Arsenal. Reguilon didn't play. The rumours are Reguilon will be back. Do you think? Me personally, I don't think someone like Mbeumo will be back yet. I think they'll wait till after the international break to bring him back, just so he gets an extra few weeks under his belt, and you don't want to rush him and get injured. Do you think that we've obviously got the running coming up, that we're going to start to get key players back, and it's really going to be a big push for us?
Yeah, no, I think we started the season fairly well. I think we were unbeaten in like our first sort of 4 or 5. And that's obviously when we had our sort of key players, except for Ivan Toney. Apart from that, we've not actually really had a spell. Every team goes through a good sort of patch in their season. They go through a little purple patch. We've not had that yet. I am hoping our purple patch comes right at the end of the season when we get our players back, like your Mbeumo's, your Shades, obviously Norgard coming back from injury. If we can hit our purple patch almost from this weekend, moving towards the end of the season, because we have got a favourable run of games, I hope that is obviously when we stay clear of any sort of relegation trouble. And I believe we will. As soon as we get our key forwards back, we obviously get our full midfield back without one player missing with like a toe injury or whatever. And obviously our back line. I think that's when we'll come into our own, because we have been playing well with a weakened squad. If we can keep that performances with almost better individuals, I feel we'll climb up the table and away from any danger. But would you agree, or do you think our little purple patch was at the start of the season, and now we're just sort of clinging on and trying to just claw and survive?
I don't know. The term purple patch can be like misunderstood sometimes, but I think it sounds harsh saying, but we've been consistently bad. Do you know what I mean? Like, and the purple patch will come, like you said, where we win a few games. Like, my biggest problem with the end of the season is now, obviously, Burnley is a massive game, yeah, as we can both agree, right? But our fixtures don't get any easier, and
they do though.
But they don't, because if you look at it, yeah, right. And I said to you in the Arsenal preview, yeah, I said to you, this game against Thingy, we take it as a one-off, yeah. We'll take it as a one-off, and we go again, yeah. Now coming up, right, we are going to have to play teams, right, like Luton, right. We've got to play Sheffield United again at home, who, by the way, I think we're one of the only teams to be beaten by them this season. Yeah. Luton away, if it's Luton at home, it's a different story. But Luton away, do you honestly think, hand on heart, we have the firepower to go 3-0 down at half time and come back and win 4-3? We don't have that in us.
No, we won't go 3-0 down.
But especially at Kenilworth Road, where they're going to be bouncing, like, Luton ain't no joke. Yeah. Then we got to go to Goodison, right? We've played at Goodison 3 times now. We've won once, lost twice. Like, this one said, we've got big game, and then we've got Newcastle last game of the season, who potentially could be fighting for Europe on the last day. We've got Man United after the Burnley game, after the international break, who are going to want European football. We are playing teams. I don't know, don't quote me on this, but I don't think that we have a game that means nothing to either side. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, I'll throw it back at you from that statement. Yeah. Would you rather that running that you just said, or the one that we've just come out of? Would you rather go away to Liverpool, Man City, Spurs, Arsenal? Would you prefer that running?
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is we're not great at the moment. The fact of the matter is,
so I'm glad we're not playing like the big teams anymore, and we can now focus on the teams in and around us who are also struggling. We're going to get our players back. Okay, most of the teams down there have their full squad. They're just awful. So I'd like to think we'll try and build some momentum. We've got Fulham obviously at home, winnable. Brighton at home, winnable. Brighton are struggling at the moment. We've obviously got Luton away. Most of our players we've kept from Griffin Park, so they're used to that sort of rundown type stadium, stands close to the pitch, so they're used to that sort of environment. We've also got Sheffield United at home. To be fair, if we lose to Sheffield United at home, I'll have to like pack it in, being a Brentford fan. No, I'm joking, but yeah, very winnable. Sheffield, even though they are very, very good away from home. Who else have we got to play? Newcastle will be last game of the season. Can I see them fighting for Europe by then? Not really. They're struggling for form. I think they're like eighth or ninth at the moment. United at home. To be fair, obviously we'll cover this in the Man United preview, but I reckon we could get something from that game, especially at home. But yeah, I think it's a much more favourable run in than a lot of teams could have. We've just come out of our worst sort of fixture list, or worst bit of the fixture list, and now we're coming into arguably the easiest you could have in the Premier League.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you are going to regret saying that, and I will clip that and I'll put that all over TikTok. Right, whatever people are watching this, if you're watching on YouTube, listeners, remember him saying that this run is easy, yeah, and then clip this up, yeah, and send it to him, because I'm telling you, bro, this run is not easy, yeah, at all.
No, it isn't easy, but it's more favourable than playing City, United, Liverpool.
Right, let me ask you a question. Let's talk percentages, right? What percentage, hand on heart, can you say we're going to beat Burnley on Saturday? Hand on heart, percentage. What percentage do you say we're going to beat them? Because you're already,
60.
You say you want to play 5 at the back, so you can't be that confident.
No, it's 60.
So you think we've got you've got a 60%. So if we're talking mathematically, yeah, right, you've gone just over half, yeah, and Burnley are based on points, they're the second worst team in the league. And you think we're going to go to Luton and mess them up, and we're going to go to Everton and mess them up? This is my point. My point, obviously, this will come. We'll talk about this more in times to come.
Have faith, John. Faith.
No, it's not about having faith. I'm being real, yeah? There's a situation we're in, yeah? We are not great at the moment. That's the fact of the matter. Yeah, right? This season, the G-Tech hasn't been the G-Tech of last season or season before, where teams come to Brentford and shit themselves, right? Chelsea came to town, yeah, and laughed at us for 45 minutes, yeah, right? This season has not been that at all, right? You need to understand. I think you're thinking of Brentford. You're thinking of Brentford last season playing this season. Like we don't have that team cohesion. We've got injuries. We don't have the players from last season, their mentality in this season. Tony's got his head on God knows where he wants to put his head. He's on we'll move on to Ivan Tony in a minute, right? His head's on a plane somewhere, right? Unfortunately, we had Buemo out. Yeah, now Norgard's out. I'm telling you now, Cameron, right? This run is going to be a lot more difficult than you think it is. And there's going to be games that we're going to sit here, right? And we're going to be criticising the game, and we are going to think, oh my God, we are in trouble, right?
Okay, so basically, I'm going to clip up that and stick it all over TikTok when we go on our 4-game unbeaten run, turn it around, and stay up.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying we won't stay up. I'm just saying I think you're being stupid to think that we're going to walk over these teams. You know what I mean?
No, we aren't going to walk over them, but I will look at Everton away as an easier game than I would Man City away.
That is,
or Arsenal away.
That is.
Would you not?
Yeah, if you go player for player, it's an easier game, right? Let's relate it to Burnley away, right? Player for player, of course, City's under 21s probably is better than ours and Burnley's first teams. We know that, right? But you know, like, we're really getting to that point in the season now where we're going to see who can step up to the plate. Because although it seems like, we're just playing Burnley, yeah, right? If we lose to Burnley, yeah, the pressure is on. Because you've got to think about it as a maths game, right? If we beat Burnley, yeah, and bear in mind as well, yeah, there's a lot of teams not playing this weekend. So we're going to have a game in hand. I think the only team around us playing is it's us, Burnley, Luton, and Forest. Yeah,
Mm.
I don't think Everton are playing. So this is what I'm saying. There's gonna be points in hand. Yeah. If we lose a game, then there's gonna be teams chasing us. Do you know
No,
what
I
I'm
hear it.
saying?
I hear it. Like if we lose, we are in massive trouble, and that's when going to places like Goodison Park, Kenilworth Road, that will become a challenge. But if
Yeah,
we win, we'll build that momentum, and hopefully we'll almost pick up that confidence that we had last season, especially obviously with our players coming back. So I think we win against Burnley, come back to the G-Tech, and produce a good performance against Man United, we could get something out of it. But moving on from Burnley, I want to ask you something, Jay. And it has been on my mind for a while, but I haven't brought it up. The atmosphere at the G-Tech this season.
Yeah.
It's not as good as it was last year. Granted, obviously, we're not playing as well. Do you think this is because of almost season ticket fans just giving away their tickets for games and it's not quite that same crowd? Or do you think it's just based off of our own performances? Because I don't know, it feels a bit off going to like the West Stand and just seeing random people each week. It's just, I don't know, it's just not quite the same. And I don't think then the players feed off that same energy as we sort of did last season. But that's something I do want to sort of raise because it's on my mind every time I go to a game. It's like, oh, like it's just some random bloke just stood there, not even singing. What do you think about
that? I agree. I don't know what the cause of it is. I think obviously the result on the pitch is gonna like correlate with how the fans are reacting. You know what I mean?
100%?
Like, if we're playing rubbish on the pitch, then we do have to get behind the players, which is a granted, right? And I hear that, but we're never gonna be able to like be like on top form. I think the problem with I think we've got two problems with the atmosphere at our ground. One is we start, then we stop, then we start, then we stop, then we start, then we stop. Right, but the gaps are like the gaps will be like 15-minute gaps. If it was more consistent and it was like a constant urge of like singing, then it'll make a whole lot of difference. Also, flipping out on its head, I think the ground, we can't generate noise. I don't know what the problem is. Like we have friends who have been in the away end or been on the other side of the stadium. And they say they can't hear us at all. Like,
Yeah, but that again, that's the same with the away end. It is a bit weird. Like we can't hear the away end, and the away end obviously can't hear us. But then, obviously, I've sort of managed not in a full capacity stadium, but last year with the women's team, being in the dugout, I could hear. You can hear the atmosphere, and that was with what 4,000-5,000 fans in the stadium. And obviously, Thomas Frank and the players acknowledge how loud it can be. But it's weird. I know what you mean. Like going to obviously different away grounds, you can hear the home fans and you can hear how much of an atmosphere it does build. But at ours, it must not do that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the placing of the away end is obviously difficult because it's right in a corner. It's probably difficult to generate noise to come out that far. But yeah, I'm not too worried about obviously the ticket thing. You got to remember, like Brentford, like we're in a position now where, and it kind of does wind me up at the same time that obviously we're in West London. You got Chelsea around the corner. We're in the Premier League. I'm sure like Fulham get it as well. But like whenever we play like the bigger teams, do you know what I mean? They're always, you seem to like look around and you seem to like you could spot an away fan from a mile off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, it does piss me off a little bit, but is what it is. Isn't it? I guess like
Yeah, I get it. We need to obviously make every seat count. We've not got the biggest stadium, it's only like 17K. But I'd rather an empty seat than a random fan turn up who's not even singing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather
I
know
don't know.
people around, because then it just builds that atmosphere anyway. Because like you're with the people that you see like week in week out, then you can start the chants, keep them going. I just think, yeah, it is a bit flat at the moment, and obviously us not being anywhere near the away fans, we can't even get off of that energy. You know, like when we go to like away games, Burnley is a
Mm,
prime example. Their like home fans are right next to the away end. Then you can like just build that atmosphere between two sections. I think if the West Ham was in the East, I think our atmosphere would be a lot better. But
mm,
obviously, I don't know how that would go down in terms of security and what our fans would be like clashing with the away.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Let's move on quickly. Obviously, we do apologise to everyone listening. Today's episode is not going to be as long as the usual episodes. Let's talk about Ivan Toney getting the England call up. Obviously, it came out earlier that Ivan Toney's been involved in the England squad, and the three strikers seem to be him, Kane, and Watkins. Is it deserved, or do you think someone like Solanke has kind of been robbed in a way? Because obviously Solanke's had a good season so far, scored the other night, gets the England squad, and someone who come back 3 weeks ago who's had two good games has got in. What do you reckon?
Yeah, no, I do feel for Solanke a little bit. Again, his goal against Luton the other night, great little turn, good finish.
Unbelievable finish. Unbelievable finish.
But I can see then why he's picked. Obviously, Kane, quality player. Watkins, he will run for you. And obviously, we don't have a striker in Ivan Toney and Kane that can sprint. Push him to
And
just do a fast jog.
as much as like Watkins, like kind of a bit of bad blood there since the last game. Also, credit where credit's due. He's probably been the best striker in the league this season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I can back why Watkins is there. Obviously, hashtag made by Brentford. And then Ivan Toney's come back in form. He was also in the England squad before he obviously got his ban, so it just makes sense for him to be in almost with Kane. So when Kane comes off, you still going to get to put Ivan Toney in there for that sort of hold up player. So I think it's a good selection from Southgate.
do you think part of the decision is towards getting ready for taking people on the plane? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you think part of the decision is to bring him in, get him there, test him out in the England camp, and then when it comes to the summer, then he's been in around the players now for 2 or 3 camps, and he's off to the Euros instead of someone like Solanke, who Southgate doesn't know if he's going to be consistent enough in the season. Do you think it's anything to do with the fact of going to the Euros?
No, 100%. I think we've sort of seen this trend from Southgate where he will pick players who, even though they may not be playing as well for their club, he knows he can sort of rely on and trust them in major tournaments. Like Harry Maguire is a sort of prime example compared to someone like Tomori, who's playing really, really well in Italy and isn't getting sort of a sniff. But Harry Maguire could be sitting on the bench for Man United or scoring like 16 own goals, but he'll still be picked to play. So I think, yeah, Toney being in and around the mix, obviously before his ban, him coming back performing so well, I think it's almost a no-brainer for Southgate to bring him in because he already sort of knows the England setup, how England sort of want to play, and he's in form. Solanke's in form, but does he quite know how to play and adjust his game to play for England? I'm not too sure. So I think he's made the right choice. Obviously, Kane should be starting every single England game at the moment, and then you've obviously got the option for either a bit of pace in behind with Watkins, or you've got another sort of hold up player and a good finisher in Ivan Toney.
Yeah. Just one more thing I really want to add. Obviously, Brentford are a selling club. We know that. Obviously, Raya during the week having an unbelievable performance in the Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
That Arsenal obviously nicked our set piece coach, and they took our goalkeeper coach as well, right? It came out the other day that Chelsea haven't agreed a deal with Brentford for Bernardo Cueva, who is our set piece coach, going to be their set piece coach for next season. Do you think this is a positive for Brentford, that you can see that Brentford are doing the right things and these big clubs want to imitate what we're doing?
Yeah, I think, well, we have got a good setup here at Brentford, and I can see why people want to take our players, not players, sort of our backroom staff. And it is positive. The only thing I'm a bit scared of is like sort of our players on the pitch. If we keep selling our sort of coaches or letting our coaches go, or our backroom staff, will we then recruit poor backroom staff or backroom staff that aren't as good? I like to think not, because Brentford is a very sort of well-run club, but that is always the risk that we do take.
Yeah, completely. My stance on it, moreover, is like, it's a positive that other clubs are looking at us thinking, yeah, I like Brentford set pieces. I want to kind of do a similar thing. But then, like you said, spin on it, it's a bit of a shitter because. But I trust Brentford enough to have someone else in mind and bring someone else in that will do the job. Let's talk about the women's game quickly. Quickly, before we talk about the women's game, all our social media has just been added on the screen below. So make sure to go follow us. Follow us on TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube, this podcast will also be out on Spotify and Amazon Music. And if you listen to us on Spotify, jump over to the YouTube channel at All Things Brentford Podcast and come give us a listen over here. I feel like we've talked about this game about 50 million times now, but we're going to talk about it again. Brentford women against Whiteleaf, am I right in saying?
No, we got Denham. We beat Whiteleaf 6-0 on Sunday. Good, solid performance. Benfica dropped points. They drew to Actonians, so that means the game's in our hands now, or the league's in our hand. If we win every single game, then we win the league. So we've got Denham away, which can be a tough game. 3:30 kickoff. It is away from home. Could be a tough game, but we're unbeaten in the league since September. So we are in strong form, and we should get the 3 points.
Yeah, exactly. I bloody hope so. Make sure we do want to stress as well. Like, if you can get down to the women's games, like, please do go down. Like, it'll be good. It will be good to get a supporting down for the girls, and we'll really, you know what I mean, boost the game. And you know what I mean. If you got a spare Saturday afternoon, head down. Obviously, most of their games will be in that sort of area. So head down and jump on. But unfortunately, that's all we've got time for today on the All Things Brentford podcast. This has been the Burnley away match preview. Cameron, have you found that, lad?
Good. Yeah, I thought it was a good pod today.
Happy days. Well, follow all our social medias, which are named below. And we will see you on Sunday or Monday for the match reaction. Let's hope Thomas Frank does not play a 5 at the back, and come on, you bees.